There it is. Finally done.
Only took, 300, 400 hours.
Yep. And I didn't record any of it.
What?
Before I explain how we built this, I need to explain what this is. The Dream Temple is a dungeon crawling game built entirely with redstone in survival on the Skyblock Kingdoms server. And to put the scale of the game into perspective, if I copy and paste the Dream Temple into Spawn, it is almost bigger than the entirety of the shopping district for the whole year-long season. Now, the game itself has the player enter the Dream Dungeon and go into a dream where they explore a labyrinth filled with spots where they can collect loot and occasionally challenge rooms that they need to complete in order to complete the dream and wake up. Okay, so that's what the Dream Temple is, but how did we create this in Skyblock? Well, the first step is figuring out what resources we actually have at our disposal. Everything here is farmable in some way or another. Some of the resources are more difficult to get than others, like the copper blocks, for example. But the sandstone and sand and all the wood types and glass, all of that is fairly easy, and there's specific farms dedicated to that. And since we're on an SMP, we actually don't even need to make these farms sometimes because other people will have made them for us. So let me take you to where the most important resources are gathered for this. One of the most important, if not the most important, is a zombie piglin farm and a bartering setup. Zombie piglins drop gold, which is very important for a lot of the rails and whatnot, but most importantly, the gold can be used to barter with piglins. Now, this essentially turns zombie piglins into blackstone, gravel, iron, soul sand, quartz. Quartz is one of the most important things here because it allows us to make observers and comparators. Without that, we couldn't make the game. Now, we have the quartz from that farm, but what about the redstone to create the comparators? So if we fly over to this piglin farm, this one's a little bit different, and they have a bunch of clerics here to trade rotten flesh and gold for redstone. So now we have essentially all of the redstone for the game itself. Now, the last few farms we need to take a look at are here at a stronghold with a end portal over here. Now, the most important thing for us needing glass and sand and all of that stuff is our main building blocks is a sand duplicator / a gravity block duplicator. So it'll be loud, but if I turn this on, all of this sand is being duplicated and pushed into the end where it's collected and farmed in bulk. So you can see there's plenty, and I mean plenty of materials here. And that's where we got most of our sand and our glass. Most of these are all Acacia's farms. I will say I mainly just did the redstone portion, but over here we also have a very important farm, which is a tree farm. And we would not have been able to do this without this farm. It would have taken 100, maybe 200 more hours because of how fast it's able to help us farm wood blocks for the build. Now, like I said in the intro, we were so strapped on time to get this giant project done that I didn't even record pretty much any of it. I did a few streams and that's it. And that's because I was just so focused on trying to get the thing done. So I think the best way to showcase my contributions to the project, aka a lot of the redstone and game design and whatnot, is to have someone run through it and explain the redstone and game design as we go. The game rules are here. If you have any questions, I've got some ideas on how to make explaining redstone and game mechanics fun, so I'll be cutting between explaining and playing the game.
All right, so case of emergency. Okay. Dream upgrades. Oh, okay. So I just throw it right here.
Yep, perfect. A key feature of the Dream Temple is that the players wake up when they complete their dreams, and this Ender Pearl being moved is a key component of that. It allows Redstone to control when the Ender Pearl falls and the player teleports.
Okay. All right, push to end dream. All right, so respawn point. Your eyes grow heavy and the dream begins.
By pressing the button, Mig sends a cascade of signals through the dungeon, starting with a single torch. Next, the door behind him retracts, revealing an entrance into the dream. 2 more signals are sent out, the first activating the dream dust dispensers located throughout the entirety of the dungeon, while the second signal activates the challenge rooms and unlocks the door, thus readying the dungeon for Mig's first run.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay. What's going on here? Gotcha. Do. Hello. Ooh. Dream dust. Okay, we found dream dust. Whoa. What? That's a trippy room. That is a trippy room. I guess I'm just exploring. I'm just exploring.
Yep, learn the layout of the dungeon. As Mig explores the dungeon for the first time, I'll take this time to talk about the game design of exploration. So the dungeon is laid out in a way that is similar to Minecraft caves. I took a lot of inspiration from that when I laid out the initial paths at first. Acorn then went through these paths and straightened them out and made them with certain sections that kind of catch your eye so you remember them, and eventually it turned into this kind of colossal labyrinth inside of the build. And the whole goal was to give the player a feeling of, wow, this place keeps going on and on. Hence a lot of the circular pathways and the gradual inclines and declines. It actually makes you feel the scale of this build. Looks like Mig is about to find his first challenge room.
Oh, okay. There's... Okay, oh, this is back... Oh, wait, no, this is a new spot.
Yep, the
Ooh.
door just opened up for you when you walk by.
Oh, okay. Help. My pet rock is missing. Find and toss here.
Rocky will appear in one of 12 chests or barrels, which is the main mess of this spaghetti redstone underneath of here. So for the player, if they come back and play this one again, Rocky will most likely not be in the same spot they found him.
Oh, there's a... Oh my, okay. You press all the buttons. Okay. Oh, Rocky! Okay. Okay, so I just drop him right here?
Yep. Ta-da! And your reward will appear when you wake up. So you have one more room to finish.
Okay. That's some good dust right there. Oh, there's a door over here. Oh my god, I love that. Okay. Decipher the correct pattern by using the clues in the room. Beware the lava, for after three tries all will be lost.
Once Mig completes this puzzle and finishes the room, his ender pearl is dropped and he's teleported into the wake up room. Now, I didn't want to show you him solving it because I didn't want to spoil the puzzle, since the Dream Dungeon is on the SBK Season 2 world download, so you all could go and play this if you wanted. The Dream Dungeon will also be featured in another project, and once that's announced, I will post it in my Discord so you all can see and watch and whatnot. So for the rest of this video, I wanted to take you through the redstone and the game design, some of the building of my favorite parts, and just tell you how we came up with a lot of the stuff that's here. Underneath the stairs, it hasn't fully been explained yet, but underneath the stairs here, this is where you purchase or craft your upgrades for the next level of Dream. So with 7 Dream Dust and the Sphinx room and the scavenger hunt room where you get Rocky, you combine those together, then you get a dream upgrade level 2 where you can then unlock 2 more dreams, aka that dream there and that dream there. And then of course you go through those, do it again, and then you find the last dream room with a bunch of extra dream dust, and you will get a trophy. While designing this, our thought process was we want to make the game progressive, and we want you to go through and explore the dungeon multiple times and start learning it, just to give, you know, a game-like feel instead of just a go and explore. Instead of like a roller coaster, it still needed to be more like a game. So that's how we kind of gamified it. And this was kind of something we wanted to do, like the Dream Forge. And I didn't have time. I wanted to do way more redstone stuff for this rather than what's currently here, which is counting up items through item sorters and whatnot. But let me take you inside of the redstone. It's kind of crazy. While I'm on the topic of the dream levels, that's what these item sorter circuits over here do. So there's 3 different ones. They come over here, and whenever you put in a dream upgrade, it will retract the piston so that redstone, this game on signal, can pass through and go down. So with this cascading effect, it means if you don't put a dream level 1 in, it will go through this one, and this one here, and so on, so that there's kind of this cascading effect where the signal gets cut off. This was kind of something I just designed on the fly. But speaking of things that I've designed, there are a few things in the dungeon that I have not designed. Many of the doors or other things like that, there will be signs here that say door by Zen. If you're wondering where these doors came from, I tried to make sure to credit them with that. So as you look around and see all this mess of wires, I tried to keep them organized as I was designing the game. The green lines mean game on, the red lines mean game off. The purple lines that you'll see over there throughout are the dream dust lines. And the dream dust is like a huge game mechanic that I wanted to talk about. It was also some of the most difficult redstone. This looks like a pretty complicated mess of redstone because it kind of is, and for good reason. This was a huge game mechanic. This was a huge piece of what makes the Dream Dungeon feel really nice for both on server and off server. It's instantly resettable, which means this dream dust that would be on the ground if you didn't pick it up and you finish the game and started a new one. Once the game finishes, this hopper minecart picks up the dream dust and pulls it off the floor. So you can see there's been 6 dream dust here that have just kind of been there. So there's also an item despawn timer to make sure that none of this dream dust actually despawns, because it is kind of a lot of levels and a lot of gold nuggets, because that's what these are. These are renamed gold nuggets. It's a lot of levels and gold nuggets to resupply everything here. So I wanted to make sure that was always picked up. This was a core mechanic because, once again, I wanted this dungeon to be instantly resettable. By the time the person left the dreaming room up there, I wanted another person to be able to go in, and it's really just as fast as ender pearls travel through water is how fast this thing can be reset. And that's the limit, which is awesome because you can barely feel it. If you're looking through the dungeon itself, you will see giant rooms like this. These are obviously the dream rooms and whatnot. The most complicated dream room, in my opinion, is the Sphinx dream room. And it's not super complicated, but it does have a lot of redstone. There's the block swappers to pick your items, and then on the inside, there's kind of the key that will send a signal through If you haven't seen these are called piston feed tapes. Now the tricky part is if you have the correct code and somebody leaves the dungeon, which ideally they did complete the puzzle, the next time somebody comes through, it will be solved. So I'll pop into free cam. You can see our chicken randomizers here. So there's chickens, and every time they move, if someone would move, please. Ah, there they go. Every time they move, they will send a signal through this and rotate the blocks over here. To make sure this doesn't run during the game, there's a few conditions like the game has to be running and this door over here has to be closed. If this door opens, then it locks it so the chickens stop affecting the blocks here and the player never sees them get swapped. So it doesn't break their immersion. So another core game mechanic is we did not want the players to be able to die. That was because there used to be a mechanic where if you took damage, you woke up. But we realized that was way too strict, especially for only being able to play this for about a week or so. So if we pop into here and just go into this room here. This, first of all, this is my favorite room. I am so proud of this room and the way it came out. It is so trippy that it's this upside down mountain and all of this stuff. The upside down mountain was actually the original idea for the under section of the temple, but because of size and time, that was scrapped for what we currently have. But we still got to use this mountain that Acorn and Ruby were able to build, and I made the parkour section throughout the whole thing. But this entire area, all of it, you cannot die while falling. You'll land on this, you will be in the snow, and since you have golden carrots, you should be able to make it back to a safe area before you freeze to death, kind of like that. But yes, this was my absolute favorite, and there are checkpoints scattered throughout thanks to playtesting, because doing this all through one run was very frustrating for a lot of people, and it was kind of harder than it should have been. And if you're exploring around here, I just saw this and it reminded me, all of these with the buttons. These buttons are to prevent slimes from spawning, because we actually accidentally built this whole giant platform here a little too low in the world, so slimes could spawn. But that actually gave us the idea for the slime maze dungeon over here. I'm hoping that slimes will be there. If we free cam, we might be able to see some. No. So this is this slime maze kind of relied as a dream room. It relied on the fact that there are slime chunks here, and we had this idea. So if you can see, there are some slime, the buttons here. Slimes can spawn up to, I think, this layer here. So essentially we made a room so that there was a little bit of a challenge where slimes were in it. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen on the server, or even right now in a single player world on the world download. Oh, we got some. I hear them. Yep, there's one. Sometimes they don't spawn, and this is a really easy, just basically a maze at this point, with the slime and whatnot. But yeah, we didn't think that part through all the way, but it was still fun inspiration that we took from this little mistake, which is always great. That's one thing I learned with this project, is adapting to your ideas as you construct it creates a way better game, in my opinion, than one that is fully planned out and you're pretty rigid on what you want to do. It's good to be more open and let the ideas flow as you're constructing and whatnot. Here's a good example of one of the last two mechanics I wanted to talk about. And this is the dream completion circuit here. So if you go over there, you can see that if somebody completes the slime maze, there will be a signal sent all the way through here, and this AND gate turns on. Essentially what this is if both of these torches, or if there's a signal coming in here, this torch turns off. And then if there's a signal from the other game, the maze here, that you've completed. If that's also on, then this torch turns off, which turns this torch on, and it tells the game to reset with this circuit going all the way up there. But it basically, this is the win condition. Also down here, if you want to see my stockpile of a bunch of items that I needed for this, with all the different wools and things like that, a bunch of Rockies here. It's down here, so that's kind of fun. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is how the dungeon knows to reset itself. When the dungeon is on, that wall is pushed up. The observer sees that that wall up there has been moved, and it turns on this light. So a constant signal from that is sent in saying the game is on, right? That's our game on circuit. Now, when we reset the game, how do we tell everything to reset? Because resetting is complicated, right? We have to close all the doors. We have to pull Rocky out of his areas if the players didn't find it. There's a whole mess of things that we have to do. And it would be a nightmare to have another set of lines, almost like 20 or 30 lines going down to reset it, which I think I came up with a really elegant solution for that, which I'm really happy and proud of, which is when this light bulb turns off, aka the game is done, we need to detect that. So to do that, we have this circuit here. Now this circuit is what's called a falling edge circuit, which means when the power turns off, it sends a signal out. That's it. We just turn off the game and it auto resets because of these little guys here. So if you aren't very redstone savvy and don't know about repeaters, I'll just show you how it works. This might be easier. So when the game's on, these two repeaters turn on at the exact same time, which makes this repeater lock this one. Now, locking a repeater means it is locked in whatever state it was. So no matter if I give it power with a piece of redstone or a torch, it will never turn on until it loses signal there. Now it can turn on. What this little circuit does here is it locks the repeater instantly, and then when I remove this torch, it will unlock the repeater, and for a split second, this dust that's powered will power the repeater and send a signal through. So here, I'll do it like this so you can see it. But once we remove this, for a split second, if you saw that real quick, it sends a little signal. But that's it. That's the entire reset circuit. I just have a bunch of these laying around everywhere. You can find them all over the place. Everywhere. Literally. There's one right there. This one resets Rocky. That one over there resets the Sphinx. There's one on every single one of these dust areas. One here, one here. Every single one of these has this little reset circuit. I've built that so many times, I will never forget it. But it was an epiphany that I had that essentially made this whole thing possible, and there's so much more free space than what I thought I needed, because I thought I was going to need another circuit for every single one of these pieces, but I didn't have to. So I could keep talking about this forever, but I will not. I will save that for live streams and stuff if you all have questions and whatnot. But that is how we made the Dream Dungeon, and it went through many iterations to get to this point. This is, and Acorn and I have said this a few times, this is it's like 25 or 26% of what we originally planned. We planned for this thing to be like a huge roguelike game. I mean, and it is a huge game, but but we planned for it to be way bigger with quite a few more mechanics and whatnot. So for Season 3 of Skyblock Kingdoms, I plan on building the 100% version of this. We're talking roguelike dungeon with multiple mechanics. Each run you can upgrade your items or get other items to help you throughout each run, and you go through multiple times. It's going to be like a full actual game inside of Minecraft, and I'm so excited for it. So make sure you subscribe or join the Skyblock Kingdoms fan Discord so you get notified whenever I upload stuff. Also, the world download for Skyblock Kingdoms Season 2 is on the fan Discord, so go join it and play this game if you want to. What pushed me through all of this work is knowing that you all would be able to play. So I would love to hear some feedback on what you thought as you delved into the Dream Dungeon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next season of Skyblock Kingdoms.